Hey Chad, John Mueller here with Get on the Track. Just looking to review the data that we grabbed last Friday, February 9th, and take a look at the differences between your fastest lap at Harris Hill and the demo lap that I put in. Should be a good way to compare where we can make improvements, or good way to find the improvements that you can make in order to go faster there. We're going to do a breakdown kind of by segment, and in some of the cases, just individual turns. In this video, we're taking a look at turn 11 into turn 10. We'll see what we can find from here and see what we can gather. So I'm on the right side, you're on the left side. So the right side is the faster lap. And you can actually see this pretty quickly if you take a look at the differences in our velocities. I'm doing 96, you're doing 86. This has a lot to do with how I'm exiting and how I'm driving through that 3-2-1, turn 3-2-1 section. You'll see that difference in a later video where I analyze that. But for now, we'll take a look at this. Obviously, that 10 miles an hour allows me to make a significantly faster lap and gain significant amounts of time in this section. That said, we'll run through and take a look. I'm going to kind of take this slow initially. One thing I want to call out is you can see your throttle position and the amount of throttle that you're carrying is dropping a little bit more rapidly than mine. I've got, I mean, depending upon how you want to look at it, I have about twice the throttle dialed in that you do as we're turning into the corner, and I'm still at a higher rate of speed. So that means that we can definitely carry more speed through turn 11. And this is something that requires some confidence. Obviously, you're looking at the tree line as you're coming into turn 11, and you see that and you see the drop off, and it's a little bit intimidating. So understand that it's not easy to find that confidence, but it's something that we can definitely work on. Want to call out your turn in here is good. Again, my video is slowed down slightly so that it runs in the same time frame, or that we're in similar positions on the track. But if you notice, your turn in is just about in line with mine. Big difference though that I see here, and this is something that's going to be consistent throughout the videos and through this lap. Take a look at our positioning here. I'm right on top of that grass on the inside here as I'm dialing that car in, versus you're consistently a couple feet away from the grass. This is all the way through this corner. And what this does, by turning in a bit more here, I buy myself more space, more room to create a nice big arc into 10. That's very important. Also notice here, I'm carrying more throttle as well, allowing me to carry more speed, right? So our speeds, I'll back up slightly. Our lowest speed at turn in are not too different. I do get down to 88, and we see 86 from you. This is just 85. All right. So I'm 2 to 3 miles an hour faster than you through there. I did see 87, but then you see that I commit to that throttle as I come through here, and that car starts to grab. You can see the difference here in G's as well. That's just one point in time, but I'm definitely carrying more G's through the length of this corner. That's because I've got more confidence in the grip of that car. So I was peaking around 0.95, I think, 0.97 I just saw, where you're about maybe 10 G's down on me. That just means I've got more confidence in the grip of the car, and that allows me to get that car further over to this right side here and really line up on the grass. Coming through here, and I'm going to actually give you some credit here, and I've got to take away from myself. My turn in here, I'm turning in and coming away from the track, from the outside of the track, a little bit too early here, whereas you're carrying a better line into here, although you do go a little bit wide. And a great way to change that up here is take a look at our brake pressures, right? If you take a look at my brake pressure, the scale right here, you can see that as I enter this corner, I'm using the brakes a lot harder to bleed that speed to get that car slowed down. That's something that we need to work on for you, both with throttle and brake pressure. just finding the true limits of that car and being able to push them a little bit harder. Basically, I can come in faster here because I've got more confidence on those brakes and I can slow that car down harder. And I know I can do that. So something to work on here. But again, I want to call out your line as we're coming in here. Diving down to that corner, you're giving it a bit wider berth, which is a good, that's actually better than what I'm doing. So this is something worth noting and something worth repeating in your driving behavior. You're getting out there wide, you're using more of the track. That's going to give you better drive down to that apex for turn 10, or a better angle as you come down to that turn 10. So good job there. If I'm trying to get faster, I will need to change that and run a more open line as I come into turn 10 and stay to the right of the track a little bit longer, delay that turn in. Coming through here, again, I'll call out, we can see our minimum speeds are not too far apart. I saw a 41 from you and then a 43 from me. But one big thing here, again, our positioning is, so coming through here, our throttle position, I don't think is much different. I'm using this tire wall as a reference. I don't think our throttle positions there are much different. We're seeing you start to dial some in and seeing you actually start to ramp it up. But one of the things that you see happen for me is this pullback from you, right? Like what this means is that you committed to the throttle too early for your comfort zone, or for your feel. Because I do believe you could apply the throttle harder here if you had more confidence in that grip, but you don't. And so there's a on off of that throttle. You see it go on and then off, and it's a little bit of fluctuation, and then you start to commit to it and we see it roll through. Where if you take a look at what I'm doing on the right side here, you see that I start to ease that throttle down and you don't see that variation. So coming in here, going hard, and then accelerating. And the one thing I may need to look at here, because I could be wrong, I don't want to be, so we come in, throttle goes up. Oh, you know what? No, that is okay. What I wanted to make sure was that I wanted to make sure that we didn't have a scenario where the car was actually blipping the throttle for you. I wanted to make sure that we had the right data point in here, and it looks as though we did. The car would blip the throttle if we were changing if we were changing gears, but I don't see a gear change within there. So we do want to work on getting more confidence in that throttle. When we commit to the throttle, we want to ramp into it gradually, but stay on it rather than a off or on off sort of application. Doing that is going to allow that car to continue to accelerate rather than slowing down a little bit on the exit of that corner. That said, what you can see here, right, is if we go to a similar position, we see that I'm almost flat on the floor here at 60 miles an hour. And then if we chase through where you're at, similar position, I just want to make sure that I give ourselves credit here. So we've got that there. We're going to go to about, call it here. So I've got about 5 miles per hour on here, on you here. And I've also committed to the throttle a lot harder. I want to take a look at one other thing, which might be interesting here. This is something I want to call out, and we're going to see there's better examples of it later. But I think one thing we should take a look at here is you're pulling a relatively high number of G's as you're exiting this corner. I think there's a good chance that you aren't letting the car run out all the way to the track edge. And what you're doing is by keeping the steering angle dialed in, you're actually forcing you're actually creating it is technically an unsafe situation as we get faster. So when we track out for every corner, we want to make sure that we're dialing that steering angle out as we apply that throttle. And so I think the fact that you're carrying more G's than I'm is an indication that I call it pinching the corner, where you hold that steering input a little bit longer than you need to. So just something to be aware of as we're doing this. So as we come out, we do start to see those G's drop. But again, if I look at where we are at, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I do want to pay attention to it though, because I did see it in turn 6, and I'll show you that in turn 6. But for now, that's turn 11. Very quickly. See I'm carrying good outside line. Want to get it down to that apex and then drive through and get on that throttle a little bit more with a little bit more confidence, a little bit more commitment from you. Otherwise, good job through that section. And again, it's just learning where we can make gains.